Hi, my name is Karne and I'm going to talk with you today about the 10 dispositions. So as I was reading through them, I decided that as an educator currently, I believe that I hold 8 of the 10 dispositions. The first one that I want to talk about is having respect for diversity. In the classroom, there is a lot of diversity. I have had quite a few families that have been Spanish speaking only families. So I've had a few kids that have come into my classroom that have only spoke Spanish, and I've had to work with them to get through that to help further their learning, and then had to work with the Spanish teacher as well. Not only that, but I've also had some special education kiddos in my classroom, so working with them to keep them up to date and make sure that they're working on the same stuff that their peers are working on, make sure that their pair is working with them to help them through that, and just ensuring that other students in the classroom are working with them just as they would work with any other student in the classroom. The second one that I believe that I hold is fairness. So I believe that in the classroom, building positive relationships with the students is something that I am very strong at. I love to get to know the students. I love to make sure that the students are knowing each other. One of the things that I read about when I was reading about the fairness disposition is making sure that you're taking time to understand the students' issues and that they're engaging in conversation. So beyond just being in the classroom. I teach kindergarten, so it's kind of a big thing with problem solving, so that was part of it. Making sure that students are trying to problem solve throughout, which is a little harder with 5-year-olds, but it's something that I enjoy to challenge them with, and I enjoy, when we're in a whole group situation and kids are talking to each other and each child gets, the same amount of turns if they want to share, so just different things like that in the classroom. Making sure that all of their challenges that the students are facing, they're all getting that same attention. Everyone is getting that differentiated learning that they are needing in the classroom. The third disposition that I believe that I hold is professional conduct. When I was reading about professional conduct, it's, within the school, when you're talking to parents, when you're talking to other professionals, when you're outside of the school, what you're posting on social media. I believe that that's something that I have been working on, and I think that I have a hang of it. Having meetings with other professionals, whether it's about special education students, whether it's with parents about behavior, or conferences about academics, just making sure that you are being professional, you are using professionalism with your words and the way that you're talking to them, you're having respect for them. Same goes for when you're talking to other teachers or other adults in the building. So just, making sure that you're having that accountability for yourself and you're being responsible for your actions and showing that you are there to be a professional. So the fourth one that I want to talk about is reflection. As I was reading through these, reflection is a very big one for me that I believe that I do hold because within my school, we have been really working on reflection. So our big overall goal these past 2 years of teaching has been feedback. So that's feedback for me and my principal, that's feedback for myself personally, and then that's feedback for me and my kids. So that ties right in with reflection, making sure that you are reflecting on your teaching, you're reflecting on all of your practices, so that goes along with behaviors in the classroom. If something's going on in the classroom that you may not have handled right the first time, going back and thinking how to do that. Every 2 weeks, actually at my school, my principal gets to come in. She comes in once every 2 weeks, and just a short 10-15 minute time period that she's in there, and she gets to come in, and then we always get to schedule a feedback right after that. So then I get to go meet with her, and she gets to kind of talk to me about, what things I could change, what I could do better at, and I get to talk about what I thought as well. The fifth one is honesty. So, being honest with your students, that's a big thing for me. I always tell my students everything. So if I'm having personal problems, that I can share with them, I love to do that. I just bought a puppy, so I love to talk to them about my puppy and personal stuff at home, and then being honest with them about academics too. So if there's something that they need to practice, we talk about what they need to do to be successful to practice that, and just making sure that they're always on the same page as you, which again is a little harder with 5-year-olds for them understanding, but it's a challenge and I love to get to do it every day. The 6th one is compassion. So, just being compassionate about your students, about seeing them every day. One of the things that it talked about was meeting and greeting your students at the door every day. That's something that I love to do, stand at the door, talk to them. There's a couple students that you have to pull aside, and I would have to talk to them about certain things, whether, social, emotional things, usually not academics in the morning, but more just how is your day going? What can we do to have a good day? Different things like that. So that's something that's very important to me. The 7th disposition that I would like to talk about is advocacy. So when I read about advocacy, it's a lot about building those positive relationships with your kiddos and making sure that any challenges that they have, that you're helping them through those challenges, you're helping the students help themselves through those challenges with problem solving, and just, making sure that those kids on a personal level, so different things about them, whether it's academics, whether it's outside of school, social, emotional, all that different stuff. And I believe that this is something that's really big when it comes to kindergarten. I think that all grades it's very important, but specifically in kindergarten, we're working on teaching kids how to do that problem solving. We're working on teaching kids how to relate back to themselves and figure out, those feelings that they're feeling. So I really think that advocacy is a big one in kindergarten, and it's something that I definitely think that I have come to understand well. And then the 8th one, or the last disposition that I believe that I hold, is dedication. So that's just simply showing up to school early. Our contract starts at 8. I like to get there around like 7:15, just making sure that you're doing all of that stuff to be ready. You're actively participating in your classroom activities. You're making sure that there's procedures that you have set in place that the kids are doing. Just being there, being present, making sure that you're working with the kids, what's going on, you're relating to them, not just simply teaching them. You're active in your professionalism, and you are treating them how you would want to be treated. So going back, the 2 dispositions that I don't believe that I hold completely yet, the first one is curiosity. And this is a very big one in kindergarten. Students, making sure that you're letting them be curious and letting them explore and get to know all these different things and asking those higher level questions. A lot of our academics, our curriculum has those higher level questions so that the kids can explore and push themselves. And I think that that is so important for them to be doing. And I do it in my classroom, and I love to see where they go from it. I just don't believe yet as an educator that this is something that I have mastered. It's something that within the curriculum I am doing, and like I said, I love doing it and I love seeing where it goes, but it's something that I believe that I could get better at. And then the second one that I think that I could also get better at is the high expectations. Now in my classroom, I hold my students to very high expectations, procedures, transitions, behaviors, whole group, all of that stuff. Academics, I have high expectations for all of it, but the main thing that kind of stuck out to me is the feedback piece. So we're really working on success criteria and learning intentions in my school, and that's something that this year we have been practicing, but it's still really hard for me, and it's really hard for me to help 5-year-olds understand what it is that they need to be successful. So there's definitely a lot more practice that I could do to master that disposition. So the last thing is talking about what a professional educator looks like. So I believe a professional educator looks like someone who is showing professionalism. So someone who, like I said, is showing up every day, being consistent. They are treating adults and students professionally. So, they're treating kids and adults how they would want to be treated. They're showing up to meetings. They're coming prepared. They're doing all of that stuff that they need to be doing to be on track, and that they need to be doing to be successful at their job. Educators behave professionally. So like I just said, you're making sure that they're treating everybody the way that you want to be treated. You're holding everybody to a high standard, just like you're holding yourself to a high standard. The standards that guide your thinking and your action are all of these dispositions. I mean, as a teacher, you want to be able to hold all of these things that help you become that strong educator that you want to be. So there's still a lot of growth that can be done, but I believe, working with your colleagues, making sure that you are there for the kids and there to help them learn and to help them grow, not only academically, but socially. That's what makes you a professional in this field. You're there for them. You're there not just to do a job, but you're there to help the kids and you're there for them.